this week on Lip 'em and Rip 'em.
Right now we're going to be top lining some stick baits for some lake trout, hopefully, maybe some brown trout.
Beautiful Mackinaw, great fish.
You know, if you would have told me 20 years ago that I would have been fishing with Sammy Hagar's son, Aaron Hagar, I wouldn't have believed you.
Hold on tight.
Like right now, she can be like Stevie Nicks and the Diaphonesia Scown singing Belladonna at the candlelight. Snap of her fingers, she can turn into Godzilla going through downtown Tokyo with the pesky little toenails getting stuck in them high voltage electrical wires.
This week we come out to Sierra Nevadas, right on the border between California and Nevada. Lake Tahoe, just beautiful. This lake is humongous, 22 miles long, 12 miles wide, over 1,600 feet deep, just gorgeous. This lake is a geological wonder. Both volcanic and seismological activity created a dam that dammed it up right around the dinosaur period. The whole lake is just surrounded by mountains, so anywhere you look, you see snow-capped mountains. You can actually see the ski resort. That lake is so big that you got to be real careful on what you do and you know when to get on and when to get off. So we tried to go early. Tuesday morning is about 7 a.m. Turns out the lake was beautiful. It had a little bit of a chop to it, was what we needed. Steve Foley we met up with loves to fish. He was real excited to get out there. He was real excited to try different techniques. He's a master at using downriggers. He just takes care of everything that you need on the boat.
Well, we were really excited this first morning out. We started out with just a ripple on the water, got the boats launched and got our gear ready.
You let out 350 feet on this?
Yeah, the water's so clear up here. We go quite a ways back when we're top lining.
Watching him run these long lines, I mean, I about freaked out when he said, you know, let that out 400 feet. And the reason is this water is so clear, it's like gin clear, that these fish can see a long ways away. I usually only let out maybe 100 feet of line. And it's 400 feet back and you hook a fish. I mean, it takes you a while to bring it in.
The last two we just picked up, one was at 350 and one was at 400.
Really?
Yeah. Gonna tie on a nice rainbow and the trophy stick.
A bit of the stinky stuff. So running these Jake's trophy sticks.
This morning we're running the 6.5s, and he has 3 flavors.
Yeah, we have 3 patterns right now. We have a baby bow, and that's our rainbow trout. So a lot of big fish like to eat on the rainbow trout, and especially the planter size ones. And a lot of times when they plant these rainbow trout, a lot of the big brown trout and big Mackinaw and big predatorial species will come in and eat where they're being planted. Second, we came up with the silver platter, which is the silver kokanee or anchovy version, which can be used as an anchovy or sardine or a kokanee or a little salmon, and does well in clear waters and big lakes like Tahoe. Third pattern is the tui chub, which is a native fish to California. It's the most dominant species from here to Oregon. They're everywhere. Favorite food for a lot of predatorial species of fish. These are working really well for us right now.
We've been catching lots of trophy fish on these.
So generally in the morning you'll start off, I mean, this is considered shallow, 33 feet of water.
Yeah, this is, we like to go shallower, you know, right up next to the rocks actually.
Well, how much of this is actually sandy bottom?
90% of this lake is a sandy bottom.
90?
Yeah, so the structure's few and far between, so when you do find it, generally you're gonna have some bait fish holding in that structure and the bigger fish around the outside, some dads. And I'm a believer in the bigger lure, the bigger fish.
Yeah, I am too.
California state record's out of this lake, and I believe it's 37 and change. 1974, so it's been a while. It's time to be broken.
Check out these great gift ideas.
Automatic fisherman. Through the ice, we catch more fish. Gear grabber, the powerful new magnetic lure and tool holder. RustyLures.com, the sexiest thing since the cane pole. Dick Knight, fishing tackle for salmon, trout, kokanee, and more. Rocky Brook Sinkers, the original limestone fishing sinker.
Yeah, it's turning out to be a nice morning. Thought it would be.
So Tahoe's mainly known for as a lake trout fishery, huh?
It's a tremendous Mackinac fishery. Huge amount of Mackinac on this lake. Predominant species in the lake are the lake trout, brown trout, rainbow trout, and your kokanee, landlocked salmon. Of course, they occupy the deep water,
right,
and they'll come up into the shallows to feed. But mainly they stay deep, and smaller fish will stay deeper and feed on the mysis shrimp that were introduced to the lake back in the 60s. But we will get these bigger fish coming up this time of the year now, springtime, coming up into the shallows. And,
searching for the kokanees and little rainbows.
You bet. The big fish that are big enough to eat those 12, 14-inch kokanees and just stack them like cigars in their belly. Yeah.
So there's brown trout, rainbow trout,
brown
and
rainbows,
lake trout.
Lakers, yeah, and kokanee.
And the kokanees
are your four main species.
We saw a sign coming down that said it had whitefish too.
Maybe whitefish. I've never caught one out of here. I know they're abundant in a lot of the creeks and streams around here, so yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
You know, I fished over at Meeks Bay. That's a lot of rock structure, and the lake has about 90% of sandy bottom, and there's no places for fish to hide and ambush their prey. So we tried to fish along the rocks, and you have to stay 100 yards from any of the tributaries that are coming down into the lake, whether it be a waterfall, a little creek, a stream, because when the fish are spawning, they want to try to protect them. It was really neat to watch these guys navigate through the rocks. I mean, you look down, and I could have swore it was only 8 feet deep, but you were actually in 50 feet of water, and you could see the bottom. These boulders are just huge. You know, it'll tear a prop up pretty quick, but these guys knew exactly what they were doing, and it was just amazing to watch them.
All right, got a brown on, I think. It's fighting like a brown. Running about 15, 20 feet of water here in Meeks Bay at Tahoe. Meeks Bay is a known place for shallow fishing. It's rocky and has great structure to it. Tasty tui chub, trophy stick on, 4.5 inch, running about 200 feet behind the boat. It's going deep. He might be 10 pounds. You don't want to come in there. We're getting a lot of good reports out here on Tahoe with these trophy sticks. I got a guy who last 5 outings caught a 10-pounder.
A bit more than we are. You get it on a little one or a bigger one?
Tasty tui chub, 4.5 inch.
Jake, you and I are going to become best friends with these lures. Good northern baits.
Beautiful fish for Lake Tahoe. We're going to put this one back. Great fish. There she goes. Beautiful Mackinac. And that's how it's done.
You were telling me earlier you've been running Steve's Fishing Supplies for what, 4 years now?
Coming up on 4 years here, yep, in June, couple months.
So it just gets bigger and better every time?
Getting close.
You're getting real close.
StevesFishingSupplies.com. I started this business 4 years ago, and it's been growing steadily year by year. I think it takes 5 years to grow a business, so I'm getting there. But it's a fun business. Everyone wants to do something that they like for money and work in a field where they're happy. I sort of thought, well, heck, I like computers, I like fishing, so why not sell fishing tackle on the web? It's just me, myself, and I run the whole deal. So if you do call to order some tackle, you'll be talking to Steve, not a little gal with a headset who doesn't know anything about what you would like to order. Keys to my business and my success and continued success is having that customer contact and able to talk fishing with them.
What kind of tackle do you mainly, is it everything?
I have A to Z. I go from, little trout lures to big 7-strand saltwater tuna lures. We got a little bit of everything, and if you don't see it on the website, give me a call.
You get it?
You bet.
Rods, reels, line, very nice.
I think it was just a fabulous opportunity, that Shannon could get out here to Lake Tahoe and check out the second deepest alpine lake, in the United States for some good action. The water's one of a kind. Listening to him talk about it made me realize, what a neat place I live in, and that I get to fish this lake, quite often. Continued top line bite sort of went away, as it does here sometimes, and then the wind gods started talking to us. It's time to get off Lake Tahoe when they start talking.
It'd be easy to ride the waves back to where we came from here, but if it gets worse and worse, you never know. Should we head back to Cave Rock and fish that?
gonna be nasty over there too.
Yeah, this is gonna get worse over here, I think, though, if the wind's coming from here.
Yeah, it's nasty. Going that way, it's gonna just keep getting nasty.
Mike Schaff does our web design. Steve Foley, and both great guys, and they've been around the area a long time, and they told some great stories about prehistoric monsters that live in the lake and just bodies that are floating around, and they had a lot of real knowledge of what the lake has to offer. And so listen to those guys talk and tell their stories. I mean, we had a great time.
Tahoe has such a beautiful side to it. It has many beautiful sides. It also has kind of a darker, mysterious side. That's going to come with something that's so deep and cold and pretty much inaccessible at this point. In the mid-1970s, famed explorer Jacques Cousteau came to Lake Tahoe to explore its depths. And he was going to do a very deep filming of the lake and what's in the bottom of the lake. Everybody was real excited. And then we never really heard anything back about it. A couple of years ago, I had heard a kind of a rumor that he refused to show the footage, that he burned it basically for the first time ever in his life. He was quoted as saying something like, "The world's not ready to see what's down there." He didn't even say what he saw, he said what's down there, you know, which raised a bunch of questions. There's the physics of the lake that would support that bodies wouldn't float to the top and they wouldn't decompose in the same manner because of the depths and because of the constant near freezing temperatures in the lower levels. In fact, you don't have to go very far down to reach that mean temperature. So I don't know what he saw. He might have saw some Italians with cement shoes, or you know, some wildlife and a mixture of things that maybe he didn't want to cap his career as being the guy who found this morbid discovery. But I don't know.
So if you would have told me 20 years ago that I would have been fishing with Sammy Hagar's son, Aaron Hagar, I wouldn't have believed you. Sammy Hagar owns Cabo Wabo Cantina. And it's just a real fun bar. We had some great food. They have live bands, just live music every night of the week, and they get some of the pretty big bands in there. Aaron Hagar is his son. Aaron was a great guy. He graciously welcomed us into the Cabo Cantina, set us up with whatever we needed. We met Aaron that night, and we got along with him real well and decided to bring him out on the boat with us and see if he could catch a few fish. Aaron, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Shannon. I'm cold.
Me and you both. It was a little frosty out this morning. A little earlier than before. Hopefully we'll get on an early bite and have a good time today.
Oh yeah, you betcha. It's gonna warm up a little bit too. That'll be nice.
Yeah, once that sun peaks that mountain, man, we'll be good to go.
Fish like biting this cold?
Yes. They don't care what temperature it is.
They don't care what temperature it is? Oh man, I'm so cold I can't eat yet. Catch us moon setting?
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things up here in Tahoe, man. We got landscapes that'll take your breath away.
That's one of the neatest things I've ever seen at Cave Rock.
Mm-hmm. Indians used to throw themselves off that, supposedly, legends say.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Silly as it sounds, this is like the warmest gloves I have.
Nobody will give me half price on gloves.
No? You get a half price on nothing, man, up here.
I only need one, dude. Oh.
It's a little early, I'm sorry. Hey, I can't acknowledge jokes like that. You know, I'm uncomfortable.
I think you're uncomfortable with anything.
Aaron was saying that his dad will die on stage, and he just has so much fun. But being around that long, I mean, that says a lot about him. The guy's just a phenomenal artist.
He just goes and goes and goes. He's a great artist, great musician, great businessman, you know, a great parent.
And it looks like, you know, it got passed on to his son, Aaron, too. Aaron is a phenomenal painter, singer also.
Kind of grew up a hybrid, but I live full-time as an artist. You know, it's very rewarding to be able to capture something in life, and I mostly work in watercolor, so, and up here, I mean, my God, I wish I had more time to do some of the landscaping here, because it's just beautiful, the stuff here. It's a great life. I have no complaints.
Have you ever done this out on the lake here?
Fishing? No.
No? First time?
I've been fishing in 15 years.
We got a virgin. We got a virgin.
Yeah, when you guys said, I'm like, cool, it's been a long time. Dad and I used to fish sometimes, and my grandma, she was an awesome fisherman, and we used to fish all the time. She used to love to fish. Now you guys got some big lures and stuff here.
That's right. Big lures, big fish.
I want to know about some of this stuff. You know, we have a TahoeTessie up here. We got a Loch Ness Monster kind of thing. And I heard it was a sturgeon.
Out here at Lake Tahoe, we have the legend of the TahoeTessie or the Tahoe Monster. People have seen something in the lake for years and years and years out here. There's also been reports of serpent-type animals 100 feet long, probably are directly related to post-vessel wakes or remnant vessel wakes, particularly if you've had a few beers.
Well, there's some nice squigglies. What's that about?
Whoa, that's a sea serpent. Hey, did you guys get the sea serpent on your blip?
That is strange.
What do you think?
Is it just straight black? That's
a serpent, baby.
Thought it was all poppycock until I have seen this thing a few times, and I do believe that they are sturgeon.
9 feet, about, you know.
What is that?
A well-respected government employee, he said that's a large aquatic creature. And all I gotta tell you is I didn't want to dive in a lake for a few weeks after that.
There's something really big way back there.
I mean, on the water, little black thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually fairly new to downriggers. I just put them on my boat last summer. So these big electric downriggers, and you know, in Colorado we're not used to fishing this deep. But I went in to check the depth. Steve was getting the other rod ready, and I went in to look at his fish finder and see if I could see anything on there.
Oh, why'd this one trip, man?
When I came back out and looked over my rod, it had tripped. So I picked it up and felt it, gave a little tug.
Did it?
You got fish on? I think so.
I grabbed it, pulled back on a little bit. Sure enough, fish on.
Oh man, I got a long ways to go too.
Pulling it in, waiting, you know, looking at the line counting reel to see how much line you had left before you actually get to see the fish.
There's a head shake, that's what I like. Only 200 more feet to go. That deep, I can't tell, but I mean, he definitely, I think, has some weight to it. 80 feet. It's hard to tell which way it's going, huh?
I was using a braided line, and that's a pretty slippery line. It'll slip right out of that clip, but Steve had it hooked up perfect, and to be able to look down and see the fish that you're reeling up that far back, it's just amazing.
Have a fishing-related product or service that you'd like to feature on our show? Contact us at lipemandripem.com. And join the party at facebook.com/lipemandripem.
Warm up a little bit now. Nice. All right, I'm going back to sunbathing.
That's it. Anytime now.
Come on, get him.
There he is, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yay! Woohoo!
It was probably a good 20 feet deep, and you could just see this fish swimming to the surface. I've never seen water that clear, and to be able to look down and see the fish that you're reeling up that far back, it's just amazing. We had a few different boats out. Everybody was trying different techniques to figure out where the fish were, how deep to fish, how fast to fish. And we were using flashers, which are also called dodgers, with a minnow tipped at the end.
We used dodgers and minnows, and we put them deep, and we sended them up, and then you put that together with your speed. If you're going to be going faster, then you need a longer leader. Then you want to knock down the bend on the back part of your dodger. So these are all little things that you fine-tune through the time.
Look at that fat belly.
You're definitely
That's a
tired.
big, hey, you got a big belly. Look at you. Whoa. Good size. He's kind of cute.
200 feet, a fish would have an air bladder the size of a teaspoon, and that stabilizes it in a water column. Now, if you bring that fish up too fast to where it cannot dissipate that air bladder, the air bladder at about 2 atmospheres loses its holding power and expands to its full ambient size.
Oh, it's an air bubble.
Swim bladder.
Wow, look at that. There you go.
You gotta pop them?
I generally pop them.
Yeah.
The common technique to do this would be to get a needle and poke a hole in its belly and perforate the air bladder and let this fish go back down in the water. 90% of the time, they just zoom right back down.
Lately, we've been trying to see if we can get them back down on the downrigger clip.
The most efficient technique that I've seen, you hook the downrigger clip onto the Mackinaw's lip, either at the top or right on the bottom, and you use offshore downrigger clips, black, and their little rubber pads hold their teeth pretty good on the jaw. Then you gently lower the Mackinaw down into the water, down to about 60, 70 feet where you can see them. And then you pull the boat forward, and then the Mack comes off and swims down.
One of the girls said, boy, that guy looks like Quint from Jaws.
Oh yeah, the Indianapolis story. Oh boy. I'll never put on a life jacket again. You'll never get me in one. Ever. Nah. can have one. Holy mother of Mackinac.
Wow, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
As if Lake Tahoe wasn't beautiful enough, the house we stayed in was right on the lake. They have their own windbreak rocks where they can pull their boat in, and they have this amazing little backyard, nice grill patio area, a little path that goes down to their sun deck and down to the boat launch. Just outstanding. They took care of us beyond my expectations.
You're gonna have ton of audio, dude. We're just gonna be We already have a whole show now.
Yeah, this is kind of disappointing. I thought you'd have bigger fish around here.
So you just want me to start rambling on?
Bill, you gonna dance a little bit for us? Woohoo! Go, man, go! It's the cold, man. Cold makes everything stiff.
Not everything.
I hope you like to edit. Look, Tessie! I swear it was the lighting. It looked like the Loch Ness Monster.